Cool. Okay, it says it's live, so it's being recorded. Um, Hi everyone. Um, we have some new faces, right? So maybe you guys could do introduction, something.
Grant, you want to go?
Well, I'm not a new face, but essentially, we brought in Kevin here, who is from Octo at Acquia, and he is a UX and design expert. And I had been talking with Dries a bit about, and some different people on a thread, an email thread, with regard to what we had done in New York. And Dries recommended that we loop in Kevin here to potentially help us with some of the usability stuff around things like the entity browser and our different field formatters and things like that that we're working on. So Kevin will be here joining us, and we'll be providing feedback and potentially, helping out with some design and things like that with regard to some of the different modules that we'll be building.
Yeah. So yeah, Janis, we've met before in Prague and also in Portland. I don't think I've met everybody else on the call. But isn't Dave running?
Dave is busy today because he has issues with babysitting. I mean,
All right.
those are not issues; it's pleasure, but it prevents him from joining.
Cool.
Yes. I also invited Dragan. Dragan is also interested in design, user experience, and front-end stuff. He is interested in media, and he attended a sprint that we had in Vienna. He has some colleagues that are also interested in design and UX. So I'm very glad that Kevin, you're here, so you can meet each other and maybe stay in contact.
Yeah.
Because, you speak the same language.
Sure. Yeah. Totally.
So Dragan, maybe you can say a word or two about you.
Hi, my name is Dragan. I work for MD Systems and work with Drupal for 5 years as a team developer. And I know Janis from Drupal events and in Europe. And I've heard that he wants to create a new media system for Drupal 8. And I had an idea to also improve user interface. And we started with some mockups in Vienna. And I don't know, just a few ideas in discussion with my friend, the designer. And but that designer, my friend, he's not so open for open source communities and don't have too much time for it. And we didn't have progress so far, just small ideas. And I'm glad to see you here, and I hope we can make it better. I don't know.
Sure. Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
So are you guys just going to do like stand up, like basic like progress and stuff, or?
Yeah. That's usually. So who wants to start?
So I can go since it's pretty easy for me. I haven't been able to do a ton of work in the past couple of weeks due to some illness and other craziness that's been going on with trying to catch up with work when I wasn't sick. But I have just in the past couple of days been tracking what Devin's been doing with CK Editor and also with media. And so I'm trying out some of these D7 patches today, and we'll be reviewing and hopefully RTBCing that longstanding CK Editor patch today. And maybe Ham, you can take a look at that too, because I think it's actually green right now. And then I also have a follow-up for another issue that is blocked by that, where I need to re-roll a patch. So I'll be doing that today.
Yes, I talked with Victor last week about the next couple release of CKA editor. So they know really blocker issue for the next type of release, except for one issue to refactoring the integration with the media model, and we decided that we keep the integration with the media 1.x, but for the 2.x, after the after the refactoring patch go in, we will create another submodel to integrate with the media 2.x. So yes, that's what I discussed with you, Victor, for the release, and I think we will have a new release next week, something like that.
Awesome.
Anything else, Brent?
That's kind of it. I'm a little bit blocked on one issue that I've been working on Drupal 8, just because I'm not exactly sure. I need to follow up with Tim and the guys that were working on this patch, because they said that they needed an integration test for this views patch, but I'm not really sure what that means or what type of test that they need written. So I was hoping to get back to that issue this week. But yeah, that's kind of it.
Cool, thanks. Willie, you want to go next?
Sure. So I was just working on some of that coordination that we'd mentioned on last week's call. So we're trying to get a quarterly event. We were thinking of doing it in New York initially, but now we're thinking of maybe trying to do some sort of a BOF or a session at DrupalCon in Austin. So some of the guys I'm working with in New York, we're just trying to sort that out this week. And then, sorry about that. And then we were thinking that we'd aim to do one more in the summer and then one more at Amsterdam, and then just try and get the user stories incorporated with that, do some work with Pam on that hopefully, and then do some fundraising and stuff to make sure that we've got enough funding to get to get the whole team together to do the work we need to do.
Cool.
Yeah, and we thought if you guys were interested, it might be depending on what kind of traction we get, it might be useful to introduce you guys just to if we get a decent media group together for a session, to have you guys, or one or two of you guys make like a 5-minute intro. It doesn't have to be as long as the intro you guys did at Nice Camp, but just to help continue to raise their awareness. So, but that's up to you guys. So.
Cool. Yeah. I had a crazy week last week, so didn't have much time, but I spared some time for a session that Dave and I are having in Austin. I kind of put together no. I guess we have to take notes. We forgot about it. I spent some time with the summer of code student that we work on WYSIWYG integration for Drupal 8. But I would still like to organize a call with him where more of us would be there, so we can help him with initial ideas. So I will hopefully manage to organize this to happen sometime next week. I have to reach Dave, but I guess he's very busy today, so I'll probably do it tomorrow. I also spent some more time with the field widget as a tab in our entity selector, and it looks like the inline editing module in Drupal 8 is doing something similar. When you start inline editing and you click on a field, a request goes to the server, and the widget for only one field comes back. I checked the code a little bit, and it seems that we could use something very similar. So I think it's possible to do it. The main difference that I see is that with inline editing, as far as I know, there are always values in the field when you're using it, but we will also need some need it for situations where the field is empty. So we have to figure that out, but I mean, it seems that it should work, and there is a code that we can research and try to base on. I also took a look at the Trello board for user stories. It seems that we collected a few of them, and we should probably take some time to organize it. Pamela, as I mentioned on IRC the other day, is she's prepared to spend some time with that, but she would like to have some opinions / guidance. So maybe we could organize a meeting just for that, not to spend too much time on scrums for that. Another problem is that she's in Australia, and time differences and everything are crazy. I don't know, Willie, are you interested in this? Maybe could you reach out to Pamela and have a discussion?
Yeah, that was one of the things on my task list for this week. So so I'll definitely get on that. So
yeah, because I mean, there's no way that we will all have that we will find a time in the day where everyone could be in a meeting. I guess if we want to include Australians, then either it's at a time where they can chat with you guys in US or with us in Europe. I doubt that we will be able to get together in one place. It will be crazy time for at least one of us. And yeah, that's it. One thing that I noticed is, I mean, I think that we should really communicate with the community on a regular basis. Which, I mean, like posting events on groups Drupal.org about scrums and posting notes there so people can see it. I think we forgot to post an event to GDO for today, because we have to communicate with the community. Otherwise, it will be hard to attract more people. So we might have to think about how to organize this, like more project management part of our initiative.
So, yeah, John Albin does a really good job of that, actually. What is it that I always am getting messages about stuff that's going on with responsive and mobile, but I can't remember what he uses or how he sends them out. I think, but I get email alerts about them, about the meetings. So I think they might. I think they're through Google Plus and not through D.O. I think you have to be subscribed to them.
Yeah, my concern. I mean, we also have these events on Google Plus, but my concern is if we don't post it on standard community channels, then general community it's excluded from that. If somebody knows that we're posting stuff on Google Plus and subscribes, then we reach these people, but we don't reach general community.
Right.
Yeah, that was one of the things I was thinking we could do with the DrupalMedia.org site was we could get it on the Drupal Planet feed, and then maybe we, depending on how we post, but we could post to to GDO and then import it on that media site, or maybe just manually post it to both places, but just sort of get the get the messaging out there. So I can help with some of that stuff if you guys want.
Yeah, I think that would be great. Maybe not now, but maybe at at some later stage we could also have like this week or month or 2 weeks in Drupal media posts
Mm-hmm.
that are being posted for core in general. We
I also
probably have
suggest to use workflow the same for Drupal mobile initiative by John Albin. They had really good progress there in Drupal groups. We could just go there and find out how they did it. Because I also participated a few times and also got always notifications and all changes and everything. I was updated about everything.
Yeah, he's really good about that. And he does it at a crazy time of night too. It's like, because he's in Taiwan, I believe. It's like.
Yeah.
I like go all the way over there. It's like, oh, I'm sorry.
I think we missed you, Kevin, because there was some background noise.
Oh, right. I was just saying that John Albin does those meetings. He's in Taiwan, but he does his mobile initiative meetings at like 2:30 in the morning his time. It's something ridiculous like that.
Mm.
Yes, and twice a day.
And twice a day?
Yes.
Wow.
No, once a week, but when he's meeting, it's twice a day. It's also for European time and US time, and I don't know.
Oh.
At some point, it's noon and evening time. I don't know, but twice a day.
Cool.
So, someone has some suggestions for the next move, or do you have some info from New York camp?
So from New York, you've seen that post that we wrote on GDO. That's basically the report. That's the direction that we want to go to. Like we have a lot of basic stuff to be done in the backend, especially with the entity browser and selector. So as far as backend development, then this is probably the main priority, at least for Drupal 8. Unfortunately, we didn't have any UX or design people in New York, so.
I was there, but I was only there for part of the day on Saturday, and a good chunk of the time got spent with just getting my session and everything sorted out. So unfortunately, I couldn't join. I would have liked to, but I came in on the train in the morning and left in the afternoon. Yes. So is everybody going to? Everybody's going to Austin, but are people going to the sprints before DrupalCon on the Sunday and Monday?
Yeah, most of us. I can say for myself, I'm flying in on Sunday afternoon, so I'm not sure about Sunday. Maybe in the evening or late afternoon, but definitely Monday.
Cool. Right. Because I'm going to be there on Sunday and Monday, and people will be sprinting there'll be core stuff, and then there'll also be LSD sprints on specific things. And I'm going to be providing some of those groups with some designs if there are usability things. There are usability things that require design. And the thing I was going to say is that if there are specific things that we know we're going to be sprinting on in Austin that need design, that maybe we could list those things out, and then I could sort of go through and see and know some things that I could either pull out designs that I already have or add new designs to the mix. And the one that particularly Brant and I were talking about, which I think is the most exciting, is the media browser that you just mentioned, Yannis. So,
yeah, that's a great plan. Yeah, and figuring out the design and UX for that browser. I mean, for now it seems that we have to work on very basic components where we don't need designs, so to say, because we have to provide basic tools that will allow us to actually build something useful in UI. But if we start to think about these things, how browsers should look like, and things like that, I think we can definitely do that.
Yeah, and then there's another aspect of that I'd really like to just ask a quick question about, which is that now that we have this decoupled architecture of all of the different media modules that sort of work well together, one of the things that this brings up in terms of usability is when these modules provide menu links, how are they structured? Do we have a sort of a framework or guidelines for for information architecture for this, so that all of the modules can sort of provide their menu links in a similar way and organize them in a way that's clear and understandable to the user. This is kind of like an ongoing problem that Brant and I were discussing yesterday, and one of the things that would be helpful for me would be to know what the landscape of all the different sort of separate modules is right now that are or at least ones that are maintained by people who are part of this group.
My idea was to make it more simple, like social networks doing this, like Google Plus or Facebook, just with the pasting the link without making complicated user interface. For example, to put just a YouTube link in a post or Vimeo or similar. Also for remote images, just to paste a link. It's just a good user experience. I don't know, and just this is just beginning, and actually you're free to bring anything, just your idea. And the idea was my idea, I don't know about others, to have it as an option, as a separate field, or integrated in a CK editor. I don't know what you think about it, but also drag and drop functionality in the post between paragraphs, 2 paragraphs, and such things. I don't know what you think.
I think that's all great, but actually my question was my point was more not about the links that users have to their specific embedded media or other kinds of media, or users adding links. What I was talking about is the menu link that the module provides into your administrative menu. So what happens is that when oftentimes when you have a suite of modules or submodules, or a bunch of different modules in the administrative experience of the user, there's this proliferation of menu links in the admin menu. And what I'm talking about is like having people who are maintaining different media-related modules have an agreed-upon kind of hierarchical structure for where different types of functionality goes in the administrative menu. So in other words, if you have multiple upload, where does the menu link, or if you have a multi-upload module, where does that put its menu link in that architecture? Or if you have some specific kind of plugin that's, how does the user find these things? Is kind of really what I'm talking about. How is the information architecture structured? When we have many different modules that deal with media, adding their own menu links in.
Yeah, I think that this is definitely a discussion that goes well beyond the scope of a Scrum, but it's really interesting stuff. So I'd love to see you guys follow up and get together and talk about it more. I got to drop, guys. I got another call, but
yeah,
so.
Right. No, yeah, Brand is totally right. It's a bigger discussion, but the question that I have is, in order for me to get a better picture of everything, is what are all the different modules that people who are in the group right now are maintaining, apart from media module itself. I know, Janis, you maintain a couple of several modules, don't you?
Yeah, I maintain Plupload or PLUpload. I don't know how to pronounce it. Sorry. And num is maintaining Scald. So, but my basic thought about this question would be that guidelines and good communication is the best way to approach it. I doubt that we can kind of limit this programmatically, because if somebody writes a module, I mean, Drupal is so extensible, they can do whatever they want. So I think discussing this, having guidelines documented somewhere, and communicating with the community to hopefully reach all the other maintainers that maintain modules in this ecosystem is the answer for that.
Right. That's exactly what I was talking about. But yeah, I think that's something that I'd love to actually take on, is writing that kind of documentation and guidelines about how to structure. If you're providing a module that you want to plug into either media module or any of the other submodules, having a system of guidelines documented that what's the best place to put my menu links, or what's the best place to put a tab, etc. That kind of stuff.
So the basic components of the system are being discussed and designed, more or less in this group and a few other people. So we have to agree how to approach this and basic parts of the ecosystem, and then just document it and
cool.
and make sure that other people that will build on top of that understand it.
But I guess you're free to improve something by yourself, to figure out, or I don't know, to make something different than it was before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things I have to drop off as well, guys. But one of the things I was hoping we could work towards was getting together sort of a roadmap for Drupal 8, like something that was sort of documented in terms of a game plan, which I think we talked about, but that's something we could start to bring together, so that hopefully we get everyone kind of just like flying in formation, right? People can do their own things, but at least we're sort of going in a common direction, and then incorporating, I think some of what you're talking about into that, Kevin, which would be like some common design patterns that we follow, where we still have the freedom to do those things independently, but at least from an end user experience, they're getting sort of a common way into media, even if their outcome's ultimately different. And I think if we could we could do some of that. There's going to be some overlap and commonalities and efficiencies and stuff as well. But I helped Karen Stevenson and some of the date team do that for a bit of the date functionality that got into Drupal 8 core, and then some of the stuff that we're working on for Contrib. And I was kind of hoping to help to do the same on media. So I think once I help with some of the just finishing up with some of the coordination, maybe that's one area that I can help contribute with as well. So, and we talked a little bit about this at the Midwest Developer Summit as well, Kevin. And Dave actually mentioned the interest in design patterns and getting, you guys, you specifically mentioned you in terms of having you involved. So, but unfortunately I got to run because I'm late for another meeting, but I'll try and help out on that front as well too. So.
Awesome. I actually have to drop off as well.
Yeah,
but yeah,
so and our time is gone, I guess.
Yeah. So, and the hackpad, here's the hackpad as well, guys. Sorry, I shared it with pretty much everyone, but we could just add our notes in there and just keep the notes going each week, and then. But okay. Thanks, guys.
Cool.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.